Good morning, Knights. Hope you all are well. I miss you. So today, we're going to be doing the project. Where did I put it? We're going to be doing the project that I showed you. I posted on Instagram and Teams. Let me grab it. It's in my purse. Okay, so it's a quick mini project. It's called Op Art, 3D Op Art. It's the use of line to create an image that appears to be three-dimensional, or at least have some kind of texture, which is another art word that we'll get into when I actually see you. But before we do that, I want you to do a warm-up today. So you're going to need to get out your composition book. We're going to do it on here and not in the hybrid packet. Today is the 15th, so please title it Warm Up 9:15, just like all the other ones. And your prompt for this one is 10-minute free draw. So sometimes it's best to just get on there and start drawing. And if you need a little bit of guidance, I'll give you a starter. And it's gonna be a swirl, okay? So for me, I would take this and turn it into a rose, but you can go any direction you want with it. And then again, this is only if you need the guidance. Otherwise, you're welcome to free draw, because I know a lot of you are really good with your anime and you just have your own set of skills. So go ahead and, you know, use those today. But if you need guidance, you can follow the swirl. If you hear extra voices in the background, we got everybody on their Zooms today. We're all in here doing our thing, so miss you though. Okay, so after you're done with your 10-minute free draw, or you can use the swirl as a guide, you're gonna get out a piece of paper. It can be lined, that's okay. But if you have blank paper, that's a little bit better. So start here with a blank paper. In fact, I think next time I give you guys a hybrid packet, I'm gonna include some blank papers for you. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. So you'll need a piece of paper. Outline paper is final. So step one, so this is gonna be a I do, you do. So I'm gonna do it, and then I'll hold it up so that you can see what we're doing. Everything on here involves curved lines, so there will be no straight lines happening today. This sample, we started with 2 curved lines, but for this one that we're gonna do all together, we're just gonna stick with 1. So you're gonna do 1, don't curve it too much, just a bent line down the center of your paper. So we're actually gonna be doing the piece landscape style, so horizontally, not vertically. Hang on, Hannah. Horizontally. So go ahead and do that line. I need to get my daughter off her Zoom. Hold on. Are you done? Oh, hang on, stop. Move. If that happens, don't click anything. Don't click anything. Okay, this is the new normal, huh? Everyone's on computers and phones, and honestly, I just want to see faces. All right, so you'll have a bent line. Then you're gonna do 5 to 7 dots. So it doesn't matter, but you don't want less than 5, and you don't want more than 7. Otherwise, you'll end up, it'll be too messy. And you wanna space them out randomly along the line. So mine, I ended up with 6, and that's okay. So here's mine. So again, 5 to 7. If 7 works, you know, do 7. If, you know, you find you run out of room and only end up with 5, that's okay too. Okay, next, remember, you can pause the video at any time. You're gonna do curved bumps connecting the dots. So you're gonna go all the way through I was thinking I need to get a selfie stick so I can just like put it somewhere and then do this. So you'll end up with curved bumpies all the way through. You are just gonna repeat this the entire time, but the key is your line has to always go back to the dot. So you're gonna overlayer quite a bit because you're gonna always come back to that dot. So let me do another round. I'm sorry, you have to just stare at my forehead while I do this. Let me think of a way I can get you to see what I'm doing. I'm sure I could duct tape my phone. Maybe I'll just duct tape it. Okay, so you're gonna come through and layer. I'm gonna do a third layer. And while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna come in and try to figure out how to get this phone so you can see what I'm doing. Remember the key, you always go back to the dot. Don't curve around to where the next line is. You go back all the way down to the dot. That overlayering is what gives it a multi-dimensioned effect. Okay, so there, I've done a total of 3 layers. See, I'm always going back to the dot. I'm gonna figure out a way to finagle this. So you do that, I'm gonna do this. And then it's like we're really in class. I just gotta get it posted like that. How can I get it to do that? Okay, please hold it. That's not good, huh? That's not helpful. Woohoo, there we go. So I have you propped up between my stapler and my tape. Not everything has just one use, you know. Okay. So I'm going to continue. Now you can kind of see it's not perfect, but it's a little bit better than it was. So here on the edge, I'm actually going to start at the dot and go to the edge of the paper. I'm going to do a couple bumps on that one, just to kind of get that part over with. See, because it was getting difficult. Okay. And you want to just do one side at a time. So I've committed to starting with the top. So I'm going to go all the way through, and I'm going to see this all the way through. Also, don't put your bumps too close together. If you look, mine are about pinky width. We had this conversation before you guys went away for the weekend, but if you put them too close together, your marker will bleed into your paper, and that never looks good. So you want to leave room. And I think at this point, I'm gonna pick a spot. So I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm gonna carry this one all the way up just to kind of get a funky look, and then I'll come in and finish the rest. When you pick one and go all the way through with it, that's when you get a different kind of texture. And remember, go all the way through to the dot. And see how it's bowing out a little bit? I'm going to pretend that my line continued off the paper, go all the way down. Okay, and then I'll go on and I'll just carry on to this one. And see, so it changed the direction of the next one. Now this guy's got to bend a little, and this is what makes it look funky. I'll come in and do this one too. I think I'll just carry this next one all the way through. By doing this, it eliminates See how it's eliminating this one? This one's going to just kind of fade away, and this one's going to take over. And I'm not planning this, it's just happening, which is cool, I think. Unless you're like a hardcore planner, then it probably really stresses you out. But remember, you keep going back down to the dot. Okay, so that section's done. Come here, I'll do this guy. I'm just kind of, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to follow my same pattern. Please don't, actually. Please do your own thing. That's the beauty of art, is you can do what you want to do. Whatever is calling to you. You know, art is meant to be original and specific to the artist. I'm going to just carry this one all the way through, and that's not what I originally wanted to do. I wanted to fill in this gap here, but it's looking like that's not going to happen. So I'm going to just continue. As I get farther away from the dot, I have to remind myself to carry the line back out. If you get a weird gap, so I have a weird gap right here, I'm just going to fill it in black. And this is why you needed a dark marker. So if you're not comfortable committing to your lines, you can start this in pencil and then come back and go over it in dark marker. The reason we use dark markers like this is because it really makes your art stand out. It really makes it pop. So I have another funky spot right here. I didn't get these funky spots on my last piece that I did, the one I showed you, but I'm getting them now, so I'm just gonna fill them in. I'll do an extra line there. Fill in this funky spot too. I'll just do all the funky spots. Okay, so there's my top half. All curved lines. Okay, and I didn't even plan it, I just kind of went with it. So now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna flip my paper this way, because remember I told you last week, turn the page, don't turn your hand, don't try to get all twisted up, always turn the page. So now I'm gonna be working on this side up, and it's the same process. So you just go a little bit, just do little bumpies all the way through. Remember, come back to that dot every time. Trying to keep it about pinky width. I'm not measuring. This isn't formal. You shouldn't have to try to keep it perfect or anything. Just kind of keep going, and as you progress, you'll see the piece come together. If you're not liking how it looks, keep going. Don't crumple it up and throw it away. I see a lot of people get frustrated and then they just throw their piece away. Please don't do that. See it all the way through to the end. I think I've said this before in a video. Every piece of art starts out as a hot mess. It never looks good. So you can't judge it until you're done. You have to wait till you're done. Okay, so I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna finish this. I do not expect you to move as quickly as I do. Okay, I don't expect us to have the same pace. So if you need to pause to work at your own pace, you go ahead and do that. But see, just curve lines, nothing outside of that. Notice they're not straight. There's no straight lines going on. So if we're going back to pattern, the pattern would be a repeating curve line. And remember, all art is just a series of lines. That's all it is. And I'm gonna bring this end piece out just a little bit because I kind of liked how that looked on the last one. And that's gonna bump out my little guy here, which I'm okay with. Okay. I think it's on my bumping that keeps giving me these funky spaces, but see, I ended up with another funky space there. I just filled it in, no big deal. Again, you can work in any order that you want. So if you want to skip a bump and like bring another one out, you can do that, which I'm going to do with this guy because I'm liking the direction that this is going. And notice I turn my paper. I don't turn my hand. I'm not trying to get all contorted. Just turn the paper. It has less mass. It makes more sense. Move the item with less mass. It's getting kind of funky. So see, it's coming together. Didn't look like this in the beginning. I'm gonna close out this guy by bringing this one out.
Is it time for me meeting?
Hannah, don't ask your teacher that. Hannah, don't ask your teacher that.
What?
Don't ask your teacher that. She keeps asking if it's time to leave her Zoom meeting. That's like the new lining up at the door before the bell. I know y'all have done that. Or the new like asking to go to the bathroom the last 10 minutes of class. Yeah. It's the new thing. Can we leave the Zoom? Oh, see, I ended up with another funky spot. I just keep getting them. It's because I keep bumping out sections. That's okay though. Okay, I'm making a video. Shh. So you need to, hold on. You can go color for 10 minutes. You can get a mandala and color, but you're not crafting. You can color and then get the sheets right up there. No, you need to stop because I'm making a video. I refuse to start over 15 minutes in, so I'm sorry, you have to hear me, parent. So this guy started getting closed out, so I just went over here to this next one. See, another funky spot, man. If you don't want to mix up the placement of your lines this much, you can just stay in the rotation the whole time. But when you mix it up, this gives it a little bit of variation. That got funky. I'm not happy with that line. So I didn't go back to the dot and look how that ended up. That's why you keep going back to the dot, because then you get, it's like a funky end line. If you like that, you can roll with it, but I am not particularly happy with that. But you'll see I didn't just quit and throw my whole piece away. I'm gonna see it all the way through to the end. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. So I made a mistake here, okay? And I'm gonna make the same mistake here, but this one was on purpose. That way, it doesn't appear to be a mistake. Sometimes, if you make a mistake, just repeat it and let it become part of your art, you know, instead of throwing the whole piece away. Because, you know, art's like a time investment. You put some time into it, and if you throw it away, it's kind of like you wasted your time, you know. You might as well go all the way through and see where you end up. So I'm going to end this by just bringing the lines out, pretending like this guy just kept going. But it basically, it's the same mistake. Okay. No, that's you crafting. You're not crafting. I told you you can color. Then you can read. So here's the completed piece. Now you can come in and color if you want to. You can, there's a couple different things that you can do. You can alternate colors in the spaces. That's one way to do it. You can color the whole thing one color. You can do a modified shade where you color really dark on the black lines and then just lightly go over everything to give it some more dimension. I can model that for you, but I have to go give Hannah something to do, so hang on. Okay. Let me find a color that'll come up good. I'll go with the super bright pink. So I'm going pink. So if you wanted to do the modified shade, you just come in and it's really scribbling. Just go super dark on the black lines. Seriously, I'm scribbling super dark on the black lines. I'm not even following, like, I'm using zero skill. I'm just pushing really hard on the black lines. So push super hard. My scribbling kids, this is right up your alley, man. However, doing this, you do have to sharpen your pencils several times. Again, scribble. Sorry, it's probably shaking the whole video. So, easy way to shade. You just scribble and then you come in and you soften later. It's kind of like putting on your eyeliner really thick and then blending it later. I gotta go resharpen. Huh? Yeah. Try not to wiggle it. Just grab a different chair, Cooper. Grab a different chair.
What?
Take your headphones out if you want to hear me. Grab a different chair.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this digital learning business is not. Thank you. Hannah brought me a sharpener. She's being sweet feek. This digital business, you're just going to see. I guess in the whole digital process, we are seeing each other like real and uncensored, you know. Teachers are teaching from home. Kids are learning from home, you know, on the Zoom meetings. We're seeing each other's houses. There's just no more, I guess it would be censorship, but there's just no more of that, huh? Everybody's raw and real, and these are definitely times we're going to talk about, huh? So my kids have nicknames. Cooper's nickname is Lou. Oh, Hannah doesn't want me to tell you her nickname, so never mind. But anyway, see, I am literally scribbling.
The proof I found is that he's loyal enough to say that I don't want to leave the zero behind because he's not going to be fine with all these bad guys around.
Do you hear Cooper on his Zoom? Okay, there we go. So I just followed all the super dark lines. Have to go resharpen again. Oh, I forgot. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for just coloring and making a good choice. Okay, so I forgot she brought me a pencil sharpener. So I'm gonna come in and now I'm gonna just push really lightly with the wide edge. So when I did the dark, I was using the tip of the pencil. Now I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna use the wide edge, and I'm just gonna push super light. Again, scribbling, not using any degree of skill other than using the wide edge of the pencil. No skill, just scribble. I'm even scribbling off the page. You can probably hear the pencil clicking on my desk. If you think about it, these are just lines too, you know, just wide ones. Almost done. So there's that. Not done yet. You come in, you're going to continue to use the wide side. Pencil sharpener. Continue to use the wide side and get this a little bit closer. So I'm going to stay close to the dark lines and I'm going to push medium. And this just kind of blends it a little more. This is a very rudimentary form of shading. Rudimentary means like primitive, unrefined, not very high skill based, but that's the best way to practice. You know, if you think about when a toddler walks, for the first time. They don't walk with a ton of skill or grace. It's pretty funny to watch them, actually. But they get better with time. So if you are not comfortable with shading, this method is a good way to start. And then as you get more comfortable doing it, and you become less rudimentary in your practices, you'll get better. So there's your $20 word for the day, rudimentary. Try to use it at some point. Side note, vocabulary is super important. It's basically the art of words. And so you want to try to have a pretty diverse vocabulary. You know, you want to use big words, small words. I think vocabulary is interesting because in the English language, there's literally a word for everything, even very specific things. Like the word rudimentary, you know, unrefined, brand new in its practice. I could have just said simple, but simple wouldn't fully describe the lack of technique needed for this. Anyways, vocabulary is cool. Fun fact, I used to read the dictionary growing up, not because I was a nerd, which I actually was a total nerd, but because I was bored. So I would be bored hanging out at my dad's or with my mom at her job, kind of like my kids are now. And I would get bored. Yeah, you don't have to ask me. Turn your video off and keep yourself muted. My son just asked me if he could go to the bathroom. It's kind of funny because he's on a Zoom. I would think he would ask his teacher, but anyways, back to vocabulary. Vocabulary is like the art of words. I think maybe that's, use the one closest to my room and prop the door open on your way out. So I think that's probably why it's called English language arts. But anyways, I used to read the dictionary and I did it out of boredom because I always hated English class. But it's totally benefited me as a grown-up, you know. So if you're bored, you can read the dictionary. I also used to read the newspaper cover to cover. Cover to cover. I would do every single page. And I got really excited for the games and the comic pages, which I always saved for the end. I don't know. Anyways, my point is, all that reading I did as a kid really made me appreciate words and vocabulary, although I would never want to teach ELA. So I'm just going in, light pressure, still scribbling. Still scribbling. It's kind of like contouring, girls, like when you do your bronzer and stuff. Anyways, so there it is. It still looks pretty white in these areas, so I'm going to do one more big pass. And I'm going to keep it light. I think I need coffee. So I'm going to do one more big pass with the wide side of my pencil, just to kind of darken it in, and then boom, there it is. Boom, there it is. Feek, I like that you turn everything into a song. I don't know if you could hear her, but she just said, boom, there it is. She's so cute. Lots of resharpening. All right. You want to continually resharpen because you got to keep that wide side of your pencil wide. You know, the shorter the lead gets, the less wide it becomes. I'm doing medium pressure on this one. Actually, I think I said I was going to do light, but I ended up committing to medium because it looks a little better. So when you're done with your pieces, can you please, I don't know how to do this because I'm old and stuff, but actually, can you just email me a picture of your completed pieces? There it is. I guess I can pick this up like normal. Okay, so there it is. And that was done with a single squiggle line. So there's the single line. And then here's the double. Anyways, take a picture, please, and email me your completed pieces. I will post these examples in Teams for you so that you can reference them. Yeah, shoot me an email. Or if you know how to like tag me on Instagram, I don't know how to do that. You can do that also, but I want to see your completed piece, okay? Remember, 10-minute free draw for your warm-up. If you need guidance, you can do this. So if you need guidance, do that. Otherwise, 10-minute free draw.
Or this.
Oh, wow. So she just hand drew that. Isn't she amazing?
It's a little unicorn.
She just did that freehand. She's 7. I don't know. She's a crazy artistic genius. Anyways, have a good day. I hope I see you guys this week. Bye.
Bye.